So let's talk about how having a narcissistic or emotionally immature parent affected you during childhood. And one of the things about a narcissist is that they often view their child as an extension of themselves. And that means that it's hard to figure out what you like versus what they like. Like, for example, for me, I did a lot of ballet, and it was because my mom really liked ballet. And, as I've gotten older, I'm still unpacking. That's just a very simple example, but what I liked because it was something I liked, and what did I do and like because it was something she liked. Another thing can be difficulty with self-esteem. And in my freebie mini course, the title is It All My Fault? A Guide to Understanding Your Narcissistic or Just Plain Difficult Parent. The reason I titled that is because a lot of times you were probably often blamed in childhood for things that were way more than your share. And the result of this can be the fact that you have a pattern of maybe needing to get other people's approval more than just your parents. And then one layer below that, you can feel like you're not worthy or valuable unless you're doing something for someone else. So a lot of my work in the workshops I do is how do we start to heal that, and how do we start to know that we're valuable people, we're worthy of love, even if we're not doing something to, quote, earn someone's love. And the other thing would be noticing that we may have had maladaptive coping skills. And a lot of times these develop because there was so much tension, verbal abuse, conflict happening in your household. Looking back, I know that I definitely developed some coping skills that weren't completely adaptive, such as overeating in order to kind of calm and soothe myself. And now again, I'm not blaming my parents for every bad coping skill I have, and it is my responsibility as an adult to keep working on myself. But I am saying that being able to connect why we've done these patterns of behavior can really be an empowering thing. Other examples might be that maybe in high school you started getting drunk a lot at parties, so when you came home you could not care if you angered your dad, for example. Or maybe it was the opposite. You did nothing wrong ever. You never acted out because you were determined to make them proud and hit all the marks. But you were really stressed out and unfulfilled then, and especially now as an adult. And that perfectionism can actually be a coping mechanism that at times can be maladaptive. Another thing is feeling like you have limited extended family members. Oftentimes, a narcissistic or emotionally immature parent does not care if they've burned bridges with their sister, with their brother, with their cousins kids that could have been your friends. And I just want to note that that's a really hard situation. And when I was about 18, someone kind of hinted to me that my mom was a bit difficult to deal with. And I can remember that day so specifically, feeling just relieved, like, phew, okay, someone else noticed this. It wasn't all in my head. I didn't feel like they were bad-mouthing her. It just helped me reality test what I was going through, which is, again, one of my other motivators to just put what we're all thinking behind closed doors onto videos that you can actually watch. So with people who I work with, I often encourage them, knowing that they may have limited extended family, to make as many friends as you possibly can. Make as many maternal friends, paternal friends. The more people in your life, the better, because we know that you want to feel cocooned and in support, and that can actually really help the healing process. Now, of course, I'm not saying just pick anyone to be your friend. That's not what I'm saying, but to really be open to almost viewing friends as family. And again, I think you can also think about which of your extended family members you may want to reach out. I've done this with some of my family members and try to create a separate relationship from the narcissistic or difficult parent, but that can be a little dicey. I've had some really good success with that, and I've definitely had other relationships where I have to be mindful that they may have a different perspective on my parent than I do. So just to wrap it up on this topic of how your narcissistic parent might have impacted your childhood, I know I'm just scratching the surface here. There's so many other ways. We're just here to plant a seed in regards to this. But also remember that if you're here, you are very resilient, you are very insightful, you're starting or have maybe already connected a lot of the dots about how your parents impacted you and starting to realize what you're actually not to blame for. And phew, that can be a really healing process. And that this recipe includes all the self-compassion and understanding we can get. It's sort of like a reparenting process, and you're not alone. And please like and subscribe if you resonated. And also, I have a podcast, Healing Your Momhood, where I go into a lot of these topics in a little bit more of a candid way. So thank you.